Gotham episode 16, The Blind Fortune Teller. I really enjoyed this episode. It was definitely a good one. We had some pretty cool character moments between Jim and his new counterpart. I really enjoyed that. But I think the big thing about this episode was whether or not we saw the origins or like the new, Gotham verse origins of the Joker. Because that was kind of how they played it in the preview, and there were some interviews and stuff. And I believe it was the executive producer when they asked, like, is Jerome really the Joker? He said, like, he might be. That was his answer. So it's still technically up in the air. It was the way they did it. I mean, when you do something like that, it kind of forces you to think it's going to be, they're counting him as the Joker. But technically, it's still up in the air, on, like, the producer level and stuff. But I enjoyed it. Like, whether he's the Joker or just an insane character that maybe inspires the actual Joker. I think it was a really well done episode, especially, him going crazy at the end. It was a short scene, but it was definitely cool. It was well done. He did the crazy, Joker style laugh. He had like the crazy look on his face, and it worked. Like, it was definitely cool. I enjoyed like the little mystery behind it. Of course, one of the coolest things about the main story, not only having like the Joker or possibly the Joker, we got to see the Flying Graysons, and we got to see Dick Grayson's parents before they got married and after they got married, or I guess engaged. It was an engagement ring. At the end of the episode, so I thought that was really cool. Like, as soon as it opened and they were at a circus, I was like, if they don't say it's like the Flying Graysons, like, even obviously they were the Flying Graysons long before um, Dick was a part of the circus. So it's like, if they're at a circus and it's not the Flying Graysons, this is just a huge, misstep for this series. It's like the perfect opportunity. You don't, like, unless it's current times, you don't have like a circus and it's not the Flying Graysons. So any DC show or something where they're at a circus and it takes place, like Gotham, it takes place in the past, it has to be the Flying Graysons. Like, it doesn't matter how just out of nowhere it is. That's just the perfect thing, and they did it well, and it was definitely cool to see that. And we got to see John and Mary, kind of bicker and have like the family rivalry, and so they argued with each other because that's what their families did. And then by the end, they were able to work things out, and then eventually they'll go on to have Bruce's sidekick son. So I thought that was actually pretty cool that they threw that in there. But the main story was really cool. I love the stuff we got to see with Fish, Mooney, and her taking these minor steps to kind of figure out what's going on and how to make things a little bit better. Like, she knew that they were in a, organ trafficking dungeon, I guess, which was kind of easy to tell in the last episode. But she rallied the people together. They're kind of working as a team. They, like, I loved her speech because she wasn't, just overly optimistic. Like, I'm gonna set us all free. She said some, and everyone freaked out. Like, shouldn't she say all of us? But she was realistic about it. Like, some people are gonna die. We saw the first casualty in this episode where, unfortunately, he had to be the example because they wouldn't give Mooney what she asked for in, as a trade for him. And unfortunately, he had to get killed off for them to take that first big step. So now she's going to meet whoever this manager might be, and it would be very interesting if it was someone we already knew. But I think it's going to be a brand new character that she has to deal with that doesn't already have some sort of connection to her, whether it's good or bad. Because I feel like that would kind of, if it was a good person, obviously, if they worked for Falcone, then she'd really just escape. Or I guess she wouldn't escape because she was trying to kill him off. But either way, I think it would be better if it was like a whole new character and it was just like just a new person that she had to deal with, and we never met this character, so we get backstory on them over time and stuff like that. So I think it would be more entertaining that way, as just a whole, like, a brand new avenue for one of our characters to go down. But I enjoyed her couple of scenes. It was definitely cool, and she kind of switched places with the one guy at the end, Thomas Schmidt. And the only reason I remember that is because I just finished the episode. But, he's probably going to be killed off. And, when she was walking away, I was wondering, what if she took his place? Like, what if she was somehow able to convince the manager that she would just, kind of free herself instead of freeing all of them, because it's really all about her or something. And then she would help them all out by kind of, because he went with like 3 other people who had guns or something. and she could convince them to, lower their guns or whatever, and then they all get beat up, and then, everyone just gets freed. But I don't know which way it's gonna go with that, but I know it's gonna be good. Like the whole thing is just like, who knows how long she's gonna be here? Who knows how many people she's gonna lose now that she's kind of rallied everyone to kind of stick together as a family? Who knows how long it'll take before it starts to degrade? Because if she loses so many people and it's just so bad over and over again, even if they're getting blankets and stuff, it's like, well, yeah, we're eating blankets and water, so it's easier to stay in the dungeon. But ultimately, it just makes it easier to stay down there until your name gets called, and then they take your eyes, or they take something else they want, and potentially something really important like your heart or whatever, and just kill you off anyway. So at some point that's gonna be brought up, because you can, like I said, have as much water and as many blankets as you want, but if we're still here, we're still just gonna get called up and then get killed off, or at least injured in some very serious way. So that's gonna happen. She's gonna have to move really fast, or otherwise people are gonna kind of revolt. Like, you aren't really helping us that much. You might be the leader in getting the things done for everyone who survives, but once her name gets called, all you do is bargain for like more food or something like that, and then that only helps you for as long as the next name gets called or whatever. So not sure how it's gonna play out for a character, but I'm definitely excited to see it. I'm definitely interested in how she's gonna take over this thing for herself, and maybe she will end up controlling the black market, or at least this specific portion of it, not the entire black market. But it's cool. I'm liking it so far, and it's had its very small moments. I'd love it if one of the episodes coming up had like, that was the main story and it was actually her. I think that would be great, because I want to see this really get developed really fast, because I have there's so many questions and how it could play out and what may or may not happen. But I really enjoyed that, as small as it was. It was really cool. Then we had the stuff with Bruce in this episode where he actually went to Wayne Industries, and that was like just one scene, and I enjoyed that. I thought it was pretty cool, and him kind of stepping up, saying like, I know certain illegal things have been going on behind my back, so I want to fix all this crap and kind of take things over. And I'll be bringing this up again when I'm kind of fighting a bit more for control and getting rid of people who I know are doing some illegal things. So that's pretty cool, and that's going to have a much bigger impact on the next episode based on the preview, or one of the next 5 episodes, because they kind of just had a preview for like all of them together. So I don't know if that's going to be in the next episode when Alfred gets attacked and they're fighting inside of the house or not. But I know the next one focuses on, they're calling the character the Red Hood because he has the little red mask on, but obviously it won't be as awesome as the Red Hood that a lot of the comic book readers know, or if you've seen the movie. It won't be as sweet as that, but it's cool that they're considering this character the Red Hood. It might end up being Jason Todd in the episode. It seemed like an adult though, so it most likely wouldn't be him, and he'd actually have to be like really really young unless they completely switch things around, because he's younger than Dick, so it's not going to be that character. But they might do something where it's like, oh, it's something and the person's last name is Todd, and that person ends up, we just have to assume that person's going to have a kid or whatever. But I'm excited for this stuff with Bruce and him having to really fight to survive. Like, it's his board members sending people out to kill him and Alfred. So this was like the first step where he kind of called them out, and they know, and it was really the 2 people talking, like the one guy and the one woman. So they're like the main focus right now. But that was a great scene for him. I enjoyed it. It was him, like, a little bit before they went there, he was like studying and he was writing down his notes and making up his mind. And when he was actually at the meeting, it was like, this is what's happening. It's not everything that I know, but it's just a little taste, because I want whoever is doing this crap to know I'm coming after them. So it was kind of a forceful step for him, which I thought was really cool. Like, him taking those first steps to becoming the Bruce Wayne that does end up running all of Wayne Industries and making all the big moves, because he's old enough to do it. So I really enjoyed that. As small as the scene was, definitely a great one. Of course, it's, like I said, it's going to have a much greater impact in the scene when they're getting attacked at the house. But this was like the catalyst. This was the first step, him saying, I know something's up. I just don't have everything that I need. So it was a great first step for that. We had, what the weird stuff in this episode. Like the one really weird thing I think was Barbara in this episode. She just came back like out of nowhere. She's just coming back, and it seemed like she was coming back from like a party. Like it looked like she was on drugs or something when she came back into the house, which I thought was really weird because the last time we saw Barbara, she was staying at her parents' house. So I have to assume, they don't really say time wise in the show how much time has really passed, but it's been a couple of weeks, like if not an entire month. She's been gone for a while now, and I think they did mention it before that she'd been gone for like 2 weeks, and that was like 3 episodes ago or something like that when we saw her go to her parents. So it was like 2 weeks back then, so it has to be like over a month at this point, or at least a month. And she comes back and she's like in the dress and stuff, and it seemed like she was coming back from a party. It was at night, and then she sees like Selena and Ivy, and it's just like she just didn't care. It was like, whereas Gordon's gone. She's like, well, screw him anyway. So who are you guys? And that was it. And then throughout the rest of the episode, or I guess she only had like 2 other scenes after that, but she had the one where she was like getting the outfits and stuff, and Selena and Ivy were helping her out. And it was just weird watching her through this episode because it seemed like she wasn't in the right state of mind, like, at all, until maybe the very end. But, these two random girls in your house, it's just like, what the heck, where'd they come from? And she was just, like, totally fine. And then, that's why I kind of think it kind of worked in a sense, though, because I feel like she had to have been partying or whatever when she first came back. And then that's why it wasn't as big of a deal, because she did go straight for the food, so I don't know. But, like going through the episode, and then it's like, well, she knows, or she feels she knows that she can at least trust these girls not to, like, go nuts and try to kill her off or whatever. They're just trying to they're staying somewhere so that they aren't just out in the streets. And, then of course by the end she went back to Jem, which also kind of surprised me, because after she got, like, the phone call and stuff, when she, of course, was cheating with Montoya, it seemed like she was done with Jem anyway. Like, I figured that's why she went to her parents. There was no possible reconciliation. It was just like, she's done. Like, she left. She went to Montoya. Then she went to her parents after that. She'd been gone for, however long it's been. I didn't think she'd come back and actually try to get with Jem. I thought it was like she was really done. And it kind of surprised me that she even went back to him. And, of course, came in at the worst time, but it only would have been, the only way it could have been more awkward is if they stopped and he looked and was like, oh, like, but I didn't see that coming or something. But we'll probably get that in another episode before the season's up. And they obviously didn't bring her back for nothing, so she's going to be in some episodes, and I don't know how the heck it's going to play out with her character. I know a lot of people don't really like her, and this was like the only time where, well, I didn't like her in the one episode when she went to Montoya, because it seemed like out of nowhere that she just left him, and it seemed like that was when everything was like looking up for their relationship, and then she took off. So, she's already like done the crappy thing as far as I'm concerned. I'm just surprised at this point that she actually came back. But, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, Jim obviously isn't staying at the apartment anymore. He's, well, forever. I don't know if he's in an apartment or like a hotel or whatever. But he's obviously gone, so we'll get some scene with them together. Maybe she'll run into the doctor. I don't know if she got a good enough look at her when they were kissing, but she might run into her or something. Who knows? But it was an interesting scene. It was, like I said, mostly it was just kind of weird to me. I was surprised to even see her in the episode, and then it was like, I was even more surprised when she was actually trying to get back with Jem. But it was fine to me, I guess. It was, it was surprising. It was weird. I don't know. I have no idea what to expect from that, but I'm not exactly excited for it. It's just going to be something that hopefully won't be really awkward when it happens. That's all I'm hoping for, is that it's not really weird or just anything like that. Because honestly, Jim and the doctor, I think they're a good couple. I really like her as a character, especially in this episode. We got to learn a lot about her and kind of how they had like the arguments, how she's really open-minded about stuff, and she's not exactly restricted to like, oh, science and explanations. She's really open-minded, like the fortune teller stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and she kind of calls Jim out about being a hypocrite and stuff, and I liked her a lot because of that, especially like the end scene. And she was, when she said he was right, and then he said she was right, and she called him out the same way he did to her. So I love her character. I think she's really balanced. She's obviously smart and everything like that. So I really like her character and stuff. She can make really funny scenes with Jim. So I think it really works. So don't know how it's gonna play out, but I like her character. She actually did help in the case, obviously, because she convinced Jim to go to the bridge, which they were both right. It was kind of, well, I guess technically Jim was right the whole time, but the hypocrite thinks she was right, at least as far as the case goes. Jim was right about the guy lying, and if it weren't for her, he still wouldn't have gone there, and he wouldn't have found out the case though. So it was like her belief, whether it was wrong or not, is the reason they solved the case. Because otherwise, he would have just ignored it to begin with, and he would have just kind of pawned off, kind of thrown the guy away like he's just a fake fortune teller or a fake psychic, and who gives a crap. But I thought it was really cool, and of course, then we got the Joker, possibly the Joker, and I liked it. I thought it was definitely well done. The guy, like I said, it was a really tiny scene, but it was definitely really cool. It was great to watch the laugh, and just the craziness was fun to watch. And, it was overall just a really good episode. It had a lot of cool little moments. We also got a really great moment with the Penguin and him just, like, kind of messing up the entire club. Like, in the beginning, it was really cool when the guy booed his mom, and he just murdered that guy. That was a pretty interesting scene, especially because like the blood splattered on the one woman, which I didn't expect. But he's like doing the like opera house or something, and then we get Butch back at the end, and he's got some weird mind control going because of Zaz. So I'm definitely excited to see just how long that goes for and how weird that ends up playing out. But love the episode. Sorry, this is a long review. Once again, I've been doing those forever now. But I, of course, want to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And there are a lot of different questions that kind of came up in this episode. One, of course, being whether or not the character was the Joker. But I think the biggest thing for me is still, honestly, what's going to happen with Fish Mooney. Because when she first got attacked by the pirates, it was like, I have no idea what to expect from that. Admittedly, they have been moving her story forward really quick because she took over in the last episode. She did kill that guy, and then in this episode, she does take that first big step, and she's by the end going to meet the manager. So I think it is moving at a good pace. But my main question is, for you guys, what do you think is going to happen with Fish Mooney now that she's taking that first step? It's not just she might fight back, she might kill off the people that come to the door or whatever. Now she's going to meet the manager. Is it going to be someone that we know? Is it going to be a new character? Is she going to like kill this person off, or is she going to actually barter with them to try to get more goods? Or, what do you think she's actually going to do now that she has this official meeting with the manager? Because there are so many options. I really don't know what to think, but I want to know what you guys think. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.